So this show, in particular, episode 20 of Live in Portland, is to showcase, thank you, Marvin, is to showcase My People's Market. And this was once an idea, but it had to be curated, it had to be uplifted, it had to be kind of displayed for its glory. I went to the first My People's Market in Southeast Portland in fall of last year, and I was just blown away by the presence in the room, the beauty that was all around us. And that goes in large part to my next two guests I'm about to bring to the stage. Amanda and Michelle, please come on out. Michelle, Amanda.
Yes.
We are representing so many things on the stage right now. Michelle, of course, from Travel Portland. Amanda, Prosper Portland. But My People's Market and the Mercatus. Tell me about this all coming together, this event that's happening on June 30th at the Moda Center. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, where do you want to start?
Well, let's talk about the origins, because this is now our second rendition of My People's Market. The first one was an absolute blast. Shout out to Bertoni Foster from Abbey Creek for being there. Really, we're always really fortunate to have him in the house. But tell me about most innovation comes out of a frustration.
Right.
And I really want to talk about how this all got built and the first initiatives to make this happen.
Yeah, so I work for Travel Portland, and one of my bosses, Tamara Kennedy Hill, she's amazing, and she knows Tori Campbell, who's Amanda's boss, and Tori started the Mercatus Project, which is an online directory for business owners of color. And Travel Portland, we're just like, oh, I love this. This is so great, because we always hear, like, I don't know where to find people of color that do this or that. I'm like, they're out there. We can, trust me, they're out there. We'll find them for you. And so, like, there's a directory, and then, like, okay, let's take it another step, because I just can't even, I don't want to hear it anymore, because I know there are so many people out there doing amazing things. So we had coffee with Tori, and we're just like, hey, let's do this crazy thing, and let's have a market. Because another thing that I was hearing, because I'm newer to Portland, don't hate me. And one thing that I was hearing is, like at Say Hey, which is Partners University does it, was that there's just not a place for community to build and come together, because there aren't neighborhoods that are traditional in other cities.
Right.
And I was like, well, how can community connect? How can we uplift entrepreneurs of color? Let's do this crazy thing and make it a market, and not just make it a market, but let's do it like someone in our family would do it, which is have food and music and bring everyone together.
Right.
And then Amanda was crazy enough to sign on to help rosters in. And so then it just kind of, we did it in 5 weeks, the first one.
Whoa!
Yeah.
That's a huge event. If you guys haven't been, I'm excited for you guys to go to this event Saturday, June 30th. I'm going to keep on saying that. Amanda, Prosper Portland.
Yeah.
Tell me about their involvement in the growth of Mercatus and the development of My People's Market.
Absolutely. So Prosper Portland's really doubled down on building an equitable future, and one of the priorities is supporting entrepreneurs of color. So early on, before, we don't really understand as a city how many entrepreneurs of color there are in Portland, because we don't have a census or any information to tell us that. And so early on, there was a task of, okay, let's go figure out how many entrepreneurs of color there are in Portland and how we can best serve them. And rather than just doing a survey or going out and taxing folks' time, Tori had a great idea of, let's do a directory and let folks, come to us as they feel they can and when they have time. And let's not make it a one-way street. Let's make it a two-way street. Let's make sure that if folks are coming to us and giving us information, that we're able to turn around and make sure that we're supporting their businesses. So that was the first part of Mercatus, and being able to support entrepreneurs of color in Portland. The other thing, so Tori Campbell's not here, but he's an amazing storyteller, and what he's like growing up with his business here in Portland, what he's sort of recognized is that the story of entrepreneurship in Portland is not inclusive and very often leaves out entrepreneurs of color. And so Mercatus was one way that he thought, let's share these stories and uplift these stories and change what that narrative looks like. So over the last 2 years, we've had a team of anywhere from 2 or 3 to 12 different creative writers and photographers going out into the community and meeting with a lot of these small businesses to very large businesses actually, and sharing those stories on the platform. So the market was really a great place to go to the Mercatus businesses that have already been signed up and engaged and say, hey, we're gonna have this crazy, huge, awesome market party. We don't know what it's gonna be like, but we know it's gonna be great. Do you wanna join us?
Yeah.
A lot of folks did, and so we did it. And it was there that we were able to sort of launch alongside, because why not
add
launch more things at once? So we had My People's Market, which was an amazing undertaking to do in 5 weeks. But we also published a magazine in the same amount of time with the help of Grid Notes, who's an amazing team of creatives here locally. And we launched our first Mercatus mini magazine. It was a beautiful way to really showcase entrepreneurship and to take included in the mini magazine as a directory.
Yeah.
So we were able to share that out, take it to meetings, take it to, Travel Portland, took it all over the world.
Right.
Yeah.
So tourists can come and check it out.
Yeah, and so it was a really great way to kind of further change the narrative.
Yeah.
So we're really excited to launch our second mini magazine. I brought a copy.
Oh, can you show us the copy?
It's like a sneak peek you can only get at the market. But we have our second mini magazine, 12 news stories, and this time our directory has a full listing of almost 350 businesses, all entrepreneurs of color. Definitely a great way to connect, check it out, go support their businesses, spend lots of money, make them rich, and see them grow.
Can we get a hand for that? Us here at Live in Portland know how hard it is just to put on an event alone. But to also do a magazine that's included, that facilitates the narrative of what we're trying to create. You also included stories of some of these entrepreneurs. Tell me about the process of that and why you felt that was so important to include.
Oh, yeah, okay, so the process. I think Michelle and I wanted to make sure in the mini magazine we were showcasing the full variety of different entrepreneurs of color in Portland, to support them in sharing that story, but also to provide. I'm thinking about Kane, which you were talking about, giving the youth something to look into the world and see themselves in, and I think that's a big piece of what we hope the stories will do is, again, changing that narrative, but then also inspiring the generation behind us to go after things that maybe they wouldn't have 10, 20, 30 years ago.
And I want to just add on a little bit to that. One thing at Travel Portland and telling the Portland story, that's what we do at Travel Portland, is we tell the Portland story, because that's what really, people are traveling to places now, not to just go consume things, but to have that transformative experience. And through storytelling that you can have that, and you can make those real connections to those different brands and people, and they'll be lifelong clients forever. When they get to know your story, they'll support you through everything.
Yeah. And I find that interesting, as a mixed race black man navigating the entrepreneurial sphere. I didn't grow up with icons, and then I was introduced to Jay-Z, and then, I'm introduced to these characters throughout my life who inspire me to try something different. That later turned into a lot of the stuff I do outdoors with some of the original Oregon Black pioneers and Matthew Henson, who discovered the North Pole. Did we know that was a black man? Black man discovered the North Pole, everybody. It's important that we have these icons, or at least these archetypes, who are bringing something to the table. And something that should be addressed is not only do you get a chance to support these businesses, minority-owned businesses, but you also create kind of an icon for the youth to inspire, to be something more than what is perceived in our current American culture. So a round of applause for that too. I want to thank you so much for the hard work that you've put in, and of course to the hard work for all the vendors, the entertainers. Shout out to YGB
Yes,
for
YGB.
creating this atmosphere. For our listeners at home and for our audience here, how can they get in touch with My People's Market, Prosper Portland, and Travel Portland?
Yeah, so My People's Market, we have a website, mypeoplesmarket.com, My People's Market Instagram page, and then Travel Portland, you can always follow us there to stay up to date on everything happening in the city.
I'm Mercatus PDX on Instagram and Twitter, and then Mercatus Collective on Facebook, mercatuspdx.com. If you want to read the full stories or get a sneak peek of what's on here, you can go there now.
And of course, My People's Market happening June 30th, this weekend, this Saturday. It's free to come.
Family friendly.
You get to support all the entrepreneurs of this city. A really great opportunity. It's in the Moda Center Commons, so like a great venue. We're going to have awesome entertainment. We're going to have food, wine.
Bertoni's gonna be there.
Bertoni from Abbey Creek is going to be there. Just an awesome event, a great community support.
Yes.
And once again, a round of applause, everybody, for Amanda and Michelle. Marvin, take it away.